Art is not a mirror held up to reality, but a hammer with which to shape it. Bertolt Brecht. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight for the sixth talk of the Tehran Summit. My name is Irfan Riyasi. I'm an artist and a researcher based in Tehran and one of the curators of Tehran Summit. The Tehran Summit creates an alternative way of looking at the process of art making and rejects the monopolization of art by art institutions. The Tehran Summit is a bridge between Iran's art community and artists around the world and brings together different contemporary discourses and methods of art making utilized by contemporary artists. The Tehran Summit emerges out of a need for independent and artist-run events initiated by independent art practitioners in a climate heavily affected by art institutions and commercial galleries. Yazal?
Hello, this is Gazelle. Thank you, Humberto, for being online with us from Panama. So, Humberto Vélez was born in 1965 in Panama. He works and lives between Manchester and Panama. Humberto has a law and political sciences degree from the University of Panama. He has also studied filmmaking and TV in the International School of Cinema of San Antonio de los Baños in Cuba. He has had solo performances for performance shows at the Tate Modern in London, Centre Pompidou in Paris, and the Art Gallery of Ontario, AGO, among others, and participated in many international art events such as Venice Biennial 2013 and 2015, Havana Biennial 2003, 2012, 2015, and 2019, Shanghai and Montevideo biennials, Ireland and Liverpool biennials, among others, and in many group shows. He works as an artist, art professor, independent filmmaker, and an art producer. In 2011, he founded Visiting Minds with that's hard to pronounce. Panamanian curator and art critic Adrian Samos, an international forum based in Panama devoted to art and education. Thank you, Humberto.
Thank you for inviting me to you all and for being here. Very happy. I just want to talk a little bit about the work that I've been doing in the last years. How to start. In Panama, when I was born, it was almost impossible to study arts, actually. Panama is a very small country. We have 4 million inhabitants, 4 million population at the moment. So can you imagine some years ago? Nevertheless, the knowledge about contemporary art was pretty limited. Through the years, my main goal has been how to connect to my people, the idea of contemporary art without being too snobby or too difficult to relate. And that has been my goal. Eventually, what is happening is that after studying in Panama, I studied as well in Cuba filmmaking, and then I moved to Europe, where I lived for about nearly 30 years until Brexit. And we know the meaning of Brexit. It's brilliant to be back in Panama. I always keep my links with Europe, as many of our friends. But coming back to Panama is a new and intense experience. I'm happy and learning loads of my fellow Panamanians, and I develop a new project. But anyway, let's introduce you some of my former works, just to understand how I started to work mostly in performance. Before I worked installation and film, and then suddenly, and I'm going to explain or describe how I started with performance art. Okay, thank you very much. I have to say that Panama helped me to start to come back to relate again with a way of art that I didn't know at all. Actually, performance art. For me, performance was completely unknown. I never learned when I was in Panama. There was no education about performance at the time. Only happenings, let's say, more or less. Anyway, I was invited to this event called Ciudad Múltiple. It was curated by Gerardo Mosquera, the Cuban curator, and Adrián Samos, a Panamanian curator. Ciudad Múltiple, in the year 2003, wanted to celebrate the centenary of the separation of Panama from Colombia. And the idea was to take over places all around Panama City. For that, they invited some quite interesting international artists from Belgium, Mexico, Egypt, China, Canada, South America, Cuba, between many. At the time, we're talking about the year 2003. This kind of project was completely new. I mean, we are now used to events that trying to connect with people, communities, and locations. But at the time, maybe was the first in the world. And it happened in Panama, a place with no contemporary art history, really. Of course, we got really important and really fantastic contemporary artists, but in terms of history, there are few. It's not that we have a school or we have a tradition at all. Okay, we see here, this is a band. My project was called The Band of My Home, La Banda de Mi Hogar. And we see here this brass band called La Banda del Hogar, the band of my home. This group, this band was formed by working class people, organized by a school, a sewing and beauty and tailoring school, very small school. In Panama, there's a huge tradition of marching during or parading during Independence Day. It's a kind of personal community or popular expression. And that's how people express themselves. And I worked this with this fantastic group of artists, popular artists, and we took over spaces such as the one that you see behind, that is the Puente de las Américas, the Bridge of the Americas, that connect connect the continent. Let's put it in a metaphorical way, exactly, because in the middle of the canal is just here, just by the city. Right, in the year 2003, we just took back the territory related to the canal zone, the former canal zone, the territory that the United States has been occupying for almost 100 years and creating a colony. So these kind of performances took over not only the city, but as well the former areas in which the United States was taking control. And this is one of these. We have here now the curator working with us. He was marching as well. This is Gerardo Mosquera, and this is Adrián Samos. And we all together, we crossed the Bridge of the America and tell you, it looks small, it's not small. And we did it happily, but as well as a sign of popular art, popular communities, marching through a moment in time in which we didn't know if that Panamanian government will let us occupy as well those territories that they took from the United States, because or they were going to be used for international tourism. Yes, exactly. It was a very special point, 2003. Okay, I'm going to show you a little bit more of this. Yeah, okay, just a sec. Thank you. Right. Okay, oh, really sorry. Back in a sec. Okay. Okay. It's not paying me attention. Thank you very much. Okay, just give me a second and I come back with you. Sorry about this. It's happened. It always happens. Right. I'm going to share with you in a sec. Just give me a sec. Sorry about this. Okay. I'm back. I'm going to keep on showing you the pictures. This is another place. This is the posh neighborhood in Panama. And then we as well invaded it. This is the band. This is the Bridge of the Americas as well. These huge drums as well. We were playing next to the traffic. We didn't want to interrupt completely the traffic through the Americas, but that was part of the performance as well, to disrupt. This is a brilliant majorette at the top of the Bridge of the America, just doing her wonderful performance, singing, dancing, taking over, appropriating all those spaces. This is a different one. It was the opening night in the old town of Panama. And we have to say that that band was it was formed for about 500 people, So it was a huge performance. It was my first performance. In this moment, when I produced this with this amazing band, I didn't know exactly, and I got to be honest, I'm very clear, I didn't know exactly how it was a performance, following the traditional rules of a performance, but I knew that in Panama we have a performative culture, and that was completely relevant to us, and I tried to mix it, and eventually it came out with this kind of collaborative work. And that is, I suppose, that is how it works. You applied what you feel that is fine because you process it intellectually as well, but because you are with the people, it makes sense to do this as well. Okay, and then this is another performance that I did for the Liverpool Biennial. I think it was 2010, and it was called The Welcoming. And this is a special biennial. This is a special performance because possibly it's my only performance in which I had a very clear political message. I usually don't have it. Actually, there's always political and social elements behind it, but I prefer just to be in the background and focus in the people that I'm working with and what they want to express. Okay, at the time, I think yes. At the time, we had there were the London terrorist attack, and I was living in the UK, and people get very difficult. They got very aggressive as well towards certain kind of foreigners. So there was a response about it. Liverpool is a city, is a port very close to by the sea, and then the idea was to work with a group of young Afghan refugees and asylum seekers, and they were the main center of the performance. Then, working from them, I wanted to relate to the other communities, migrant communities of the port of Liverpool. I'm talking about the Chinese, the Irish, and the Black community, and in the Black community, the African and the Caribbean community, and remind them where we all came from. That because they felt British, they were possibly British effectively, but they forgot their roots and the condition that they were migrants or their family were migrants. So there was a kind of memory of it, a reminder of it. On the other hand, we have to remember as well that Liverpool was one of the most important cities in terms of the slave trade. So we create a parade and a demonstration in front of the Home Office Immigration Department from the north of England. This is it. I work with a group of refugees as well, a different group of artists who happen to be refugees, and they created the symbol of the performance, that it was not only this demonstration parade, but also a naval performance as well that you will see in a moment. I didn't intervene much in this banner. I posed the idea, and the artists created this idea, and actually they keep this banner in their association. Okay, another picture of it. This is the square in Liverpool where slaves used to be sold, actually, and we started from there. We move across. These are the group of, this is a group of African musicians who as well took part in the demonstration parade. Okay, my fellow Panamanians came to give me a hand. So this is the Panamanian flag, very kind. They visit us. Remember that we, Panama and Liverpool, we are both Porth. Here we have all these group of people, migrants, asylum seekers. There were hundreds, fortunately. It wasn't an easy project as well. It was the first time that an art project was trying to convey and work together with migrants from different cultural groups, Chinese, Africans, and Black, Caribbean, Irish, first time. And it was a very slow process for more than a year. This is, you see the background, the landscape of the skyline of Liverpool. And this was the maritime performance, actually. The idea as well, after this demonstration and parade, that in this boat, the Afghan group of young asylum seekers and refugees, they were on the boat and they were landed by the Liverpool docks. We'll see that in a second as well. Okay, here we have the Irish community ready for participating. I'm talking here to the representative of the Caribbean community. And here it is docking this boat with all the asylum seekers and refugees. We can see them getting into UK is a metaphor, landing, going to the docks, being welcoming by all, not only the communities, but as well the people from Liverpool and the biennial, the artists as well, the Irish community, and wonderful welcoming, more of them. There was a at the end, I didn't just wanted to make these celebratory steps or element. Each community had the chance to express how they felt, how they were feeling about living in Liverpool. So all of them, they had this chance. And we have the Irish representative. And when the Caribbean representative talk about the injustices that that community had in Liverpool, there were some very emotional exchange, not something aggressive, but yes, it was a response that we can't believe it. It was a quite a strong moment because, you know, people can sometimes stand to hear those kind of experience. So in that sense, I think that it was a quite interesting moment. We have the final family photo with all the people, most of the people involved in the performance. And the wonderful group of Afghan asylum seekers as refugees. We trained them as well to make films, and they created their own films of the performance as well, not only this one. Okay, we see now, they also have a word. They were saying what they wanted, what they were in England, what they were the dreams and hopes as well. And that's how we finished the whole performance. Okay, this is a different performance. It's called The Fight. That was for the Tate Modern in some years ago now. Okay, 2007. At the time, the Tate was a new museum. It's in South London, as you know, and it never really connected with the people. It was too middle class and for international visitors. And they say, okay, could you please create something to bring in people. I say, yes, I'm going to do something. Thank you very much for the invitation. But I'm going to work with local people. We're going to create an international art project, but with local people. So I work with amateur boxing club from South London. Why boxing? Boxing is a metaphor for surviving, for the arts, for dynamism, for many things related with history and tradition in London and also in Panama. Boxing is one of the greatest Panamanian sports. And then I perfectly connect with all these groups of boxing. This is a picture that I took of one of the boxers advertising the event. And at the time, people at the Tate, I mean, it was a beautiful thing in a way. They didn't know exactly what was this kind of working with people thing. When it happened and it finished and it went okay, the people from the public event department say, oh, this is a public event. Performance say, no, this is a performance. But at the time, they didn't know, and that's the incredible thing. In less than 15 years, the landscape of performance art has been changing a lot, and now this is considered performance art, but not necessarily before. Okay, let's move a little bit into this. I work with different groups, not only with the boxing clubs, amateur boxing clubs, Irish as well, Black, Caribbean, Middle East as well. There were Iranians and Iraqians as well. They were part of this performance. For more than a year, I went to these clubs. I stayed with them. I fought with them because I trained as well with them, boxing. Also, I trained in Panama, just to understand what was happening, how I was feeling physically. You know, you can ask people to do something and not understand it and be part of it. But I work also with a group of professional dancers, very famous now in the UK, and a DJ and musician to create first a song, a rap about the boxers and the community. What is the meaning of? And this was a black musician. Also, the dancers. They were trained, they thought that they knew, but they were trained by boxers how to dance, boxing dance. And so they worked really together in this event. I asked to the musician to present his work to the boxers, and the boxers, when they listened to it, they rejected completely. It was a huge blow to the musician, but they said that it was too stereotypical of what the boxing work is. So he had to redo it. He did it fine, and now the boxer says, yes, you can play it in the performance. So this is the inside the Turban Hall, the bridge where we put this huge ring in the middle of it. People from all ages, men and women. Okay, these were the amateur female champions as well in the UK. They were participating. Like we have the rapper here, and there was a kind of combination of. I changed up the rule of boxing, so there was more dynamism in this event, and we can see the boxes now. The Tate Modern became and the stadium. I have a funny anecdote about this, because when everything finished, we had the video, people like it, more and more people from the community started to come to the because they thought this is my place, this is where I box, the Tate Modern. It's a fine place, you see. And they asked them in a meeting, in a public meetings, they asked the people from the Tate, to the curator, can we have every 2 or 3 months a boxing night at the Tate? With the horror of the curators, of course. Never happened. But hey, is that how it works with people? If you open the door, you cannot say no. You have to let them in forever. And that's a great lesson that I learned as well. And I hope that You understand what? Okay, more of shadow dancing, performing for the audience. The performance took about 5 hours, 6 hours. It was a huge event, and fortunately, okay. This is the performance that I did for the Centre Pompidou, and 2010. It was a cabaret aquatique, and it was called Les Plongeons. It was in a floating swimming pool in Paris, a beautiful la piscine Josephine Baker, no? The swimming pool Josephine Baker. You see, it's just asking. When you see, it's just asking to be done, something done to be here. So I created it with the wonderful support of a group swimming clubs as well, John Swimming Club for all Paris, and the swimming pools of all Paris, and young poets from North Africa, from Asia, from Russia at the time. They're all participating, singing and dancing as well, contemporary arts in the swimming pool in this event. Okay, see a little bit more. Okay, you see them here, rapping, and they were acrobatic, of course, actually, plongeon, diving all around, combining music, and music actually especially created, you remember Gazelle, especially created by a young Iranian composer that changed Josephine Baker music and turning into a quite clever and contemporary adaptation of electronic music. Okay. More sports into the performance. It was sport, poetry, dance, more plongeon. There was synchronized swimming as well. You cannot see it here. See more. Okay, this is a different one. This is in 2003, and it was for the Havana Biennial. Okay, and this is the Central Land. And the idea was I work with an all-female band called, I'm just gonna get it in a sec, Cristal, amazing musicians. And we work together, words, lyrics, and music about the condition of the woman, and especially the female artists in Havana. We're talking about 2003. And then we create this concert, one for the beginning of the biennial and another one in a different location. So we have here this amazing band. We develop as well a wonderful costume for them. Okay, this is a different one. It's in an old fortress in Havana. I helped her to sing some of the songs as well. I get into the dancing, in the Cuban, Caribbean stuff. Look at this fantastic costumes, a good old-fashioned design with Cuban fabric as well. That was in the mud of a fortress. One of the musicians, and we got the musicians, we got the morro, this part of the very most known landscape of Havana. The idea that was incorporate popular art, popular artists, great artists into the Havana Biennial without the separation between international or visual artists, and they became part of the Havana Biennial because they deserve it. But because in Havana, still there's a difference between visual arts, international, and the local. And my idea was to incorporate everything in one piece. The group Cristal. Okay, this is a different one. This is in Las Palmas de Gran Canaria, and this was a bodybuilding performance. I think that was in 2012, maybe. Yes. I don't know if you have a question at the moment, or shall I carry on?
I think you can carry on.
Yeah,
Okay.
carry on.
Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. Okay, okay. Las Palmas de Gran Canaria. Las Palmas de Gran Canaria, the biggest island of the Canary Island, las Islas Canarias, beach city as well, Las Palmas de Gran Canaria. So I've been working with the idea, not the body as a metaphor of achievement and dream, and how you build yourself physically or intellectually into, you create your own aesthetic. And the terms of aesthetic is something that is, and how you develop your aesthetic personally or in a group, or you're part of something that is, it's something that is always follow me, because is a different way, not only a different way of expressing yourself, but a different proposal from the imposed ideas of beauty. Okay. Okay. Just a second. Yes, looking. Okay, this is in this art gallery, we developed this contest between men and women of trying to look for the most beautiful kind of body, or projection of ideas about a different kind of body, from muscle to fitness, and how that work, and they have to explain why it's supposed to be beautiful. We have a jury formed by a curator, an artist, and a real fitness athlete, and this whole, it was to present what is beautiful, what is the idea of building your aesthetics, what is art, of course, as well. And let's see more images. See, there's another one. We created this space. This is an art gallery as well. La Regenta is called. This is a kind of show. He wasn't in one part of the contest, but it was a kind of the quite interested idea of working with the body as part of an art project as well, and the idea of beauty, of course. It was pretty serious at the beginning. Actually, people didn't know how to feel. Especially, I mean, Gran Canarias is a very central place in a way. Everybody's anyway naked, semi-naked in the beaches, and then but they have it now in a museum. Is it that beautiful? That is what is the idea behind all this? Okay. But in the end, it was a mixture of both, on how we incorporate these popular ideas of aesthetic and beauty inside the artwork, and these people as well. And then the winner, second, was the lady next to it, next to him. This is a different project. It was in Valparaíso, Chile. It was about music, popular music, lyrics in Latin America and in Spain. There is a competition using lyrics in rhyme, and then one start, and then the second one answer, and goes on. And the idea in this case is a popular tradition, is to talk about what is art and popular and high art, using this kind of events and music composition. So we created together with a poet and a group of musicians poems that they were played with music, talking about what is the meaning of art, for whom is the art. Is the art popular? It is okay, or is it only high art? In this place, that it was a monumental place because it was a former how you call it, gazelle. and loosen it a little bit, where when you sell the stock market. It was the stock market in Valparaiso, a very rich city in South America at the time, in the beginning of the 1920s. Okay, but something happened. An earthquake occurred, massive one, I have to say, massive one. We were here recording the music. 8.9. The whole event was canceled. Not only my performance, it was a collective exhibition. It was for the, it was a conference for the Spanish Academy, from Spain and Latin America. The King of Spain supposed to attend, but earthquake just in two nights before, 8.9, can you imagine? We didn't know what to do. Many people flew back to their country. It was trembling all the time. The artist and I, we decided to carry on with the project. We recorded why to carry on with the project, not as a stupid kind of arty thing. Oh, we have to carry on. We thought that possibly we have to rewrite some of the lyrics and send a message of solidarity. Use the art for something. The art could be useful. So we recorded, reinvented the whole lyrics and project, and we transmitted by radio. And say, we the artists are with you in this terrific, horrible situation. This is at the AGO in Toronto. This is a project created with the support of the Art Gallery of York University, but it was presented at the AGO in Toronto. I work with the participation of the Mississaugas of the New Credit. There were First Nation people from Toronto that they were expelled. Actually, from their land used to be exactly where the AGO, this wonderful contemporary art museum, is now. They were expelled from the center of Toronto to many miles away from the city. And then I also work in collaboration too at the same time with parkour, artists that they used to dance and play outside the unexpelled from the museum too all the time. So they worked together and we created this ceremony. It was a new ceremony, totally invented for the occasion with them. This project took me for about 3 years, come and going, traveling back to it, to really getting involved with the Mississaugas of the New Credit, this community, with the parkour. So it was a ceremony, artistic and religious ceremony, trying to look for a link between the past and the present of all Canadians, different kind of Canadians. The parkour artists, they were the metaphor, the impersonation of the spirits. They were called by the Mississaugas of the New Credit at the center of the museum, exactly their former land. So it was about forgiveness. It was about all linking together in a country that has so many backgrounds, but have none. Where can we start from the past? Where can we land really in the present if we want, using the museum as a center of it, but also our religious, spiritual ceremonies of that. Okay, I got more of that on another occasion. We got the people here, amazing artists, and this was one of the most fantastic projects that I did. This is called The Most Beautiful. This was for the Cuenca Biennial, and it was a parade and beauty contest of llamas and alpacas. Yes, exactly. The most beautiful, exactly. Yes, we were commenting about beauty, about biennials, we talked about national representation in biennials, but we're talking about people, because we work with this group of First Nation people who were descendants of the Incas. they were completely excluded from the artwork, and we invite them after a long process to be part of this and present themselves in the middle of this city. That is a kind of, it could be a snobbish city, definitely, but they were part of it, and then they presented who they are in this with their animals, but absolutely love animals in the the Municipal Museum of Contemporary Art, and we can see them. They are the center of it, the most beautiful. Now we are here with the animals, fantastic llamas parading across the city. There's nothing like a llama. Oh, okay, but talking about pets and animals, there was a performance for the Irish Biennial Event International, and it was at the docks, exactly. It was a full day at the docks, race courses. People ask me, why you don't want to talk about something more celebratory of our wonderful culture? I say, well, listen, we're talking about people. So when I visited this place, I was in love with the energy, the passion, the group feeling from children coming after the christening or after their first communion to go to the dogs and see the races. That is Ireland. Sorry, at least Limerick. So I decided, no. Let's not talk about something too high art. Let's talk about people. So we have this performance, and then we intervened a whole night. I didn't want it to take over because I found it completely out of touch and very, very arrogant. So we created a race in which I include some interesting names related to the history and the socials of Ireland. Between them, traditional family, morally superior, I have a dream, art is money, and no Irish, no blacks, no dogs. Yes, tight names that got to do with the history of Ireland and the UK and discrimination and the social. Traditional family, moral superior, I have a dream, art is money. I have to say, I didn't control the race, and the winner was art is money. So I'm working on it. My producer was so happy, she bet all her money to art is money, and she made a good win, definitely. She knew. Here it is. We have a huge parade. I work as well with this group of musicians, local musicians, Irish bands, Scottish bands. People parade their pets as well. Their pets as well. We were singing, and then we created a mixture of local and contemporary rhythms with the Irish. Okay, this is one of the dogs, isn't it beautiful? Exactly. The winner. Exactly. Yeah. All the community, we were exactly. And I think that she was the producer, more happier than ever. Yes, here we have it. Exactly. And of course, you see, it is wearing the marks of the winner, international Irish Biennial in the spot. Okay, Guatemala, Zumpango, one of the most amazing places that I've ever been. It's a town full of artists. You got to go. Every 1st of November, they have this huge event celebrating their ancestor, and they create and they fly huge kites. Okay, I work with the kites, but I also work with the community, with the whole, as much as I could. It's impossible with the whole town. I proposed to the organizers of the biennial, the 21st Biennial of Arte País, to say it's a project by me, but as well by the whole community, and we created this art religious event working with the Maya community, of course, actually. We created this, this is a ceremony. It was a real ceremony. It was a real ceremony, both art and real ceremony, in which we link artists with the community. As we know, at least in First Nation community, art is related, the artists are part of the communities. They are not above, and we have a useful meaning. We have a useful role in community, different to the capitalistic way of behaving or capitalistic way of producing. And I wanted to try, I'm not saying that I'm going to replicate it, it's impossible, but try to get involved and mention it. This is an amazing group of kite makers, all female kite makers, and they fly a giant kite. We will see that we saw before. This is their kite. They managed to fly it 7 meters long. Okay, let's see, in the event, people were able to as well to fly it with her. These are, they used to be called Maya's princess, now a representative. It's not because it's a different kind of idea of beauty. They know their traditions, and as the contest is about knowing as much as possible about their Maya history and tradition, and those are the winners. Okay, we parade across, we were announcing, we were marching all across the city of Zumpango. This is one of the old spiritual leaders. This is the place where they fly the kites. It's huge, you can see the kites here. This is the Maya ceremony that takes hours from beginning to end. And we incorporate as well the artists who came to visit. They got to come and visit Zumpango. That was one of the requirements. People are not going to the capital. You have to come to Zumpango. So Stop Biso Central and Art Central. You got to go and see the people. If you want to see the people. Huge guide about traditions and art and musicians. And the giants as well. They are part of the event. Okay. At the moment, this is, I got now, Gazelle, the information that you asked me about the Havana Biennial, my last complex project, let's put it in that way. I don't know if you want to hear more.
Yes, Havana, 2019.
Just to introduce you, Havana is one of the most difficult places where to work if you want to work with people. Why? Because there are so many limitations to how you get involved. They don't want, usually they never want you to get enough involved. There's so much supervision on it. Of course, people are very friendly and it's a very intense, fantastically expressive society. But on the other hand, they're always checking you. They're always checking you. I managed to, I was pretty lucky. I was very reluctant to do a kind of project like this, but I got the huge support of the curator who have a special relationship with the authorities. And let's see what happened in Havana. And I'm going to explain little by little what happened to it through, I worked there for almost a year, I mean, coming and going, of course, actually. Havana Biennial, not this, the one that is happening this year, the one before 2019. Very exciting place to work with. Just a sec. Okay. This was a bunker idea, I have to say, but I like bunkers. I think bunker is good. Isn't it? Okay. Okay, Los Caminos, the paths, really. And I have to say that I need to at least read the group of people that I was working with, because it's an amazing group, and there were many groups that I worked with, that I was lucky to work with actually in this project. Okay, I work first with this community. That when we see this ceiba, that is a sacred, it's a sacred tree for Santeria. And all these people who live in this community, in this hof, they They were from Santeria community. That is a mixture of Christian and African community. Okay, and African beliefs actually. Sorry, actually. So other groups that I also work with a group of young musicians, also with a group of senior artists and musicians as well. All of them out of the spectrum of the high art world in Havana. I also work with some go-go dancers as well from Havana. Exactly, yes, they have go-go dancer, exactly. And then I also work with some dancers from Tropicana. I don't know if you know Tropicana, the most important traditional cabaret in Havana. It's like a classic from the 50s and 40s, actually. So I mix all these people and the community to talk about all groups, actions, skills, artists who were invisible in the Havana art world, but they are active part in the community. Okay, and I coordinated, especially the dancing, with a friend of mine who is a Mancunian choreographer from the UK, from Manchester, UK. Also, I work specifically in a very popular neighborhood in Havana called Barrio Colón, and I work with a fencing club. Well, I'm gonna present you how I work with all this group of people in a second. Let's see. Okay. This is the group of the specific famous neighborhood that I was working with. Okay, I'm going to give you more images in a second. More of this. And this is the group of dancers. We're starting to work together now as well. The professional dancers with the go-go dancers. So it was a mixture of both of them to create this choreography eventually. Young musicians as well, very talented in Havana. We wanted to include in the and you see the how fantastic this is called a ceiba. This is a ceiba. It's a sacred tree. You present offering there. Over here, there are offerings. All the people who live in this building, they are related to Santeria, to syncretism, this kind of religious in Cuba. So there are families and families. There's a tradition here. This is a special place in Cuba, not only in Havana. Okay, this is another picture in color. Very popular. This is the group of seniors artists. They were all over 80. And they mix with the young people, they mix with the dancers. We also work with a group of young opera singers and Cuban folk music as well. Okay. Sadly, some of them have died. Okay, let's see if you can listen something of them. Let's see.
Ya está empezando lo velorio que le hacemos a mamá. Dame 17 arrancado de tabaco valiente y un barrito de aguacate. Un poco de dinero valiente para que me dé la suerte. No quiere pedir y que mi negra me quiera.
Okay, we move a little bit. Okay, I think I would like to present you the images of the performance now, if that's okay. Let me look for them. Thank you. Just to finish these, yeah, images. Thank you. It's called Los Caminos, the Path. Okay, this is the beginning. There was the fencing gym at the Barrio Colón at the center of Havana. This is really the old town, Havana old town. You see the group of these are not the fencers. Actually, these are the dancers who work as well fencing. They learn a little bit of fencing with the fencing club. Fencing is a popular sport in Havana, in popular neighborhood. Okay, they were welcoming the people from the performance. I think the Gazelle is over here. The invited, the guest. Okay, this. Welcome to the gym. Welcome to all place. Welcome to Barrio Colón. This is a really difficult, poor neighborhood, I have to say. One of the roughest places, amazing place in Havana. Okay. Inside, we were waiting for them. This is part of the community that we were. From here, we went to the California. That is where the big tree. The big tree is that you have seen. So, and we were waiting for the people to enter to the fence. This is the inside the fencing club. The white is because it got to do, wearing white got to do with Santeria, with this religion, okay? Okay. Announcing, explaining a little bit the elements of what is going to happen. This is a welcoming. One of the representative of the community was about from the Ceiba or the tree building was welcoming everyone as well. Audience, welcoming from the community. We're starting with a song from the senior group. There you are, fragile and beautiful. All the ladies, they walk miles to be there. And this is a group, these are part of the young opera and folk Cuban music group as well. Tenors, helping or working with the senior group. Singing together. Okay, now we have inside the dancers and the young fencers from the neighborhood as well. The fencers, they created a choreography especially for us with music as well. It was all with music. It was amazing to work a sport with these young, talented sport people from Barrio Colón. They are the musicians as well, and they show their skills. And then the dancers, when they created a choreography inspired in fencing. There we are. This place is amazing. It's in the middle of the neighborhood. The roof is open. Water enter and it turns into a completely different place. But doesn't matter. They carry on working and doing things and practicing and meeting and doing things for the community. The trainers of defenses explaining who they are and what they did. Champions, international champions, Cuban champions. Okay, the performance, dancers from the go-go, the cabaret, doing a creative, especially creative performance with fencing and without it, alongside the opera singers. I didn't have many videos because I wasn't sure about the connection, but they were playing with everyone here, fencing stuff. We're having fun. And then there were some solo, beautifully choreographed dancing choreographed by this UK choreographer that came specifically to help us in the event. They were explaining as well who they were, the go-go dancers and the dancers from the cabaret, Tropicana cabaret. All of them, they had a moment for, and they were playing this contemporary choreography as well, producing something that they had never done, a contemporary choreography. They did it beautifully. And at the same time, they were singing the opera singer, the young opera singer, were singing all the time a cappella with them. We only stopped to introduce each group to the audience, to say who they were. You can see the opera singer singing to the dancers. That created a beautiful kind of connection between them. We're singing traditional opera and as well Cuban songs. Also, they were having fun. And the young musicians here participated as well with the group of the old seniors group, senior alto, sorry. And we included as well a young dancer, female dancer, who helped us. Just before we going now to, or we are moving to the community building actually. And there's going to be a parade walk to them in a second. Yeah, she's leading now the way out in the street of El Barrio Colón. This barrio, I really get really shocked when I saw in one of those rehearsals, I saw a bus full of German tourists visiting it, and they were checking the poverty of the area. Walking the streets, the roads, with the neighborhood, celebrating. The group of young musicians leading the procession. singing at the same time with the young dancer as well. Okay, taking the streets, the people taking their own streets, not me taking their streets. They taking their own streets. And saying this is an international event, but it's our international event. This is for us and for the international people too, in the Havana Biennial thing. There's a lot of suspicion for the government of working with communities, because they think that they're going to be used to talk about political issues. So we have to skip some barriers. And now we're entering into the Solar de la California, that is called this amazing neighborhood and place. Now we have, before entering the Solar de la California, the young opera singers, Cuban singers, they were welcoming all of them with an opera, with an aria, sorry. Okay, they were singing them at the entrance of it. That's inside now, the El Solar. People were waiting inside. Now we enter into the Solar. All the guests, the sport people, the dancers, the international artists. And there was a ceremony inside devoted to Elewa, the entity, the spirit that opened the paths for all of us. It's a very cheeky entity, religious. We always play in tricks, but it's also the entity that is devoted to the children and beauty as well. And you can see as well, just give me a sec. I got a problem with have to give me a second, please. I'm gonna stop here for a second. These are the opera singers participating in the final concert devoted to the people from El Solar de la California. People from El Solar de la California, they were part of this since the very beginning. And remember that there is an element of religious element inside this performance. You see the white as well. It's devoted to Elewa. That is a piñata that we decided, because it's part of the tradition as well, to break piñatas, and that's the idea of a Elewa piñata. And it was broken by children, by everyone, and that is smoking a cigar, of course. Elewa got to be Cuban. So I stop here. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Humberto. That was amazing.
Thank you, Humberto. Wow. It's can I say the name of the young composer you mentioned, the Iranian?
Midyar, just let me... Exactly.
Say it? Matyar Aghajani. He composed the music.
Thank you.
In Paris, yeah.
Have you? I haven't been able to be much in touch in the last 2 years, but I mean, he was extraordinary to work. He got the idea completely. He turned it into an electronic sport event. He worked with the music of Josephine Baker, and Josephine Baker as well. She used the word Panama sometimes, because Panama is a way that it was called Paris, and still is called Panama. Exactly. So it was
Panam. Yeah.
Panam. Merci. Exactly.
It's a slang for Paris. They say Panam. Yeah. Okay.
So
Okay.
exactly. I don't know if you have any questions. Of, I mean, sorry that I just put so many words, but I just wanted to get
Yes.
thorough as much as possible.
Yes. Well, I want to say that actually, in the beginning, you said that you weren't sure of it, etc. But from the beginning, actually, you gave voice to people. You know, you gave voice to people who didn't have. You gave a stage to people who didn't have it, and it occurred around from the beginning till now. And like for the last piece, which is like opera, that's why I really wanted you to show a lot of pictures of it, because it was just like opera, and the stage was a city, and it was this poor neighborhood. And then you linked all these people together. You have the professional singers, the opera singers, professional, and then you have the old people choir, you had the young, the go-go dancers, to which you taught I mean, okay, you sort of marry high art. I mean, you make the go-go dancers do contemporary dance.
Oh yeah,
I
that was
remember that was
fantastic.
very, yeah. And you know, I mean, okay. The only thing I can say is like I always loved your work, but the thing is that you sort of demystify high art and the museums of the biennials. You take the boxers to Tate. You take the migrants from all origins to the Liverpool Biennial, and you put them on stage, and you sort of make people concentrate on something else. And that was the amazing thing. Well, I had seen the one in 2003 too, remember, and the one in Paris. But the 2019 performance, the last thing you showed, I mean, I have to say, because you've been in many biennials, I was in two. 2003, where we met, it was a very good biennial. I mean, I made amazing artists. The art was fantastic. It was different from the other biennials. Right before, there was the Venice Biennial, and everybody hated each other. I mean, I met two friends there, like Jota Castro, but everybody hated each other. You felt like all the artists wished that the other one is going to die before the end of the biennial. The competition was so strong. It was very stressful. And then a few months later, there was the Havana Biennial, and it was all about connection, all about friendship, and the work was fantastic. I mean, we met, remember the work, there was very, very good work. And of course, I felt that the curators on purpose showed bad Western art. Remember, there was very bad Western art, but they showed fabulous South American art, Asian art, and everything. Anyway, and then this time, the biennial was horrible, 2019. Actually, the only thing that was interesting was you. And the other the video of that guy, I can't remember, Martial or whatever, oh, I can't remember his name, a Cuban artist. And then everything became like any other biennials, huge installations that meant nothing in a country where a lot of people are still very, very, very poor. And you're like, why do they spend so much money? And then you, among that, you did something with the poor people, and you made all the international people come to the poor neighborhood and see a live opera, and it was fantastic.
I think that we need to connect to others. We need to look at ourselves, stop looking at ourselves as artists all the time, and not saying that I care about people. Do care, but caring means control yourself and connect to others. And that is a difficult exercise, I suppose. When I did the project in Ireland, people said, okay, well, she was a beautiful artist, fantastic, great work. But she said, but why it took so long? I said, this is not my place. I'm just a guest. I cannot invade people's places. I intervene. But I mean, people have the daily, they come over here, they pay, they have fun, whatever. Why do I have to stop? What is happening just because I'm an artist and I want to show what I do? That's selfish. So we have to, and what happened then? That the classic idea of the art, the tempo of the art changed. Okay, it got to change. It got to look less arty and more real. And that's what people don't get. Is that you got to stop to follow the rules of what looks like art and what's supposed to be art, and really break it, because there's no other way. Not because you want to be the most trendy or whatever. It's not the point. It doesn't work for the people. And my intention of communication is always there. How to involve people, how to feel that my family will be part of one of my performances. That I always, I mean, possibly living abroad, as many of you for so many years, helped me to translate myself into it. And I always, all the time, was translating myself. I didn't know, but I was communicating. I want to be part, but I could not be part, because you cannot be part from such a different country, even though you were living, have been living there for a long time. It is impossible. You connect in certain things. Another thing is as well my education in filmmaking, because that helped me. I need the other to talk about me as well. That's how filmmaking works. You need someone to have a dialogue and connect. It's not only about myself, it's also about us. It's also about us. And they trust you. They understand that you are an artist. You got to be really responsible, but artistic. One of the main dangers of all this is trying to be morally superior and trying to help the people of the world and tell people what to do and go for this cause and this one. Of course, that we are against oppressions, we are against totalitarianism, against all the bad things in the world. We are moral beings as well. But art is not only that, it's much more about something else. Excite, communicate, dreams, give a dream, share your dreams. And this is something that I learned. Sharing your experience as an artist is something that is so invaluable. The experience that we all have when we create is so special that we want to carry on, isn't it? But when you share it, and that person, it's like touching someone, it's like electricity, and say, wow, I felt it, and I'm part of this, and I'm a little big artist. Yes, that electricity, once you turn on, that battery never go. And that is the sharing that we have that possibility.
Thank you. I mean, I think the sentence you said is so nice. I mean, important. The artists are part of the community, not above. And that's the problem with the art world, because the artists think that they're really above everything else. But what has happened is like the art world is so cut off from reality. But what you do is part of reality. You know, it's anyway, Irfan, tell her you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Humberto, for your amazing talk. Well, as an artist that uses popular elements, uses whatever is in that location that he's like going there, and creating art not for the elites but for the community, with the community. I'm just wondering, what do you think is the necessity of these types of works, especially these days, during the COVID maybe, and also like the post-COVID era maybe, and also what are the problems that you usually are prepared for? Because
yeah, I have to say that I started as a way of learning, connecting, expressing years ago. That's how it started. I prefer in the past not use the word community, but people or group of people. Okay, because the word community has been exploited a lot. Yes and no. Post-COVID, I'm back in Panama, very happy. I create now these at home. My home is This one behind that you see here, this is my studio, is a performance studio. And I create performances or events or actions with friends, artist friends, non-artists, small ones, really small, in a space that I can control. And then I invite a small amount of people. Actually, I don't need, you know, big audience. I just need audience that relate to it. In this case, okay. And it's about communicating between artists, creating a dialogue, having fun, having a drink, seeing something small, but hopefully well produced, exchanging between us, because I was working recently with a filmmaker, a photographer, musicians, and we create a score, performance, situation, and we're gonna carry on doing that. But in Panama, it's needed. It's needed to come back to what you say, Gazelle, talk, leave out the pretentious, leave out the platforms, stop the bullshit, talk about art and about, you know, how we feel, and see if we can work together as people and then artists. And exactly is what I learned as well from all these First Nation people. When I work with the Maya, we are just people who happen to be artists, and we help each other with what we do. We give comfort, we give beauty, we give spirituality. I'm not special. I'm just special. There's somebody who helped to give birth to people. That's special too. So get grounded, and that is, I suppose, what I like to do, and it feels good coming back as well to my country and learning from it, because there's a new kind of artist. Like I have one of them is a friend of mine who is here, Raul, as well, new artist. So you see, that's a connection. This connection as well with you two other people. Come to Panama, my humble house. Let's do something. Let's do it again. Let's do it again in a different way.
Yeah, absolutely.
You did something during COVID. Didn't you do an opera or something? I remember there was something you did. It was in the beginning of COVID.
I was pretty reluctant because I didn't want to use Zoom for creating artwork. Everybody was saying, "Oh, not again, not you." But hey, I did it with this brass band, and we did something at somebody's home, and it was a nice concert. We rehearsed mainly because we wanted to do something together. You know, we were a band, we got a group of artists, not because we wanted to use Zoom was the tool. And we had so much fun. And we learned as well about how to work with media, because it's difficult. It's a new way now to, you know, performing. I used to perform with people in all these wonderful outdoor places. Now maybe I can come back to do it. But at the time, I had to learn how to work performance as well, with platforms. Keep on connected in a different way.
Yeah, totally. Pega says, thank you so much. Looking forward to check the videos of these performances on your website. I appreciate how you pointed out to the performative as well as communicative nature of your culture. It seems like performance has always taken place through this culture, and how people know its notions effortlessly points out to this matter. Yeah, totally. If anybody has any questions, they can raise a hand, or you can write your question in the comment section. I can.
Can I say something? I think it's important to know that I mean, I've seen 3 of your performances live, right? And it's important to do that. Your presence is very important too, because you know you're there, you're part of the performance. At the same time, in an invisible way, you're directing them. You know, I mean, you don't talk much. You're there. It's like just by looking at them like this, when you look like this, you sort of you're conducting the thing, you know, like a conductor of an orchestra, but you don't even use your hands. Okay, now you go here, you go there, because I've seen three, you just stand there, you're there. And I think well, in Havana, it was obvious you were there, but even in the swimming pool, they knew you were there. You just conduct sort of in an invisible telepathic way with everybody. And I think it's important to point that out, that you're always present there.
I learned to trust people and leave behind that kind of controlling arty thing. I did a performance in Panama. I invite a group of friends as well to perform, great artists, musicians. I say, what Humberto say, what do you think about this music? I say, oh, not sure, that could be funny, I don't quite know. I say, well, do you invite us or not? Okay, yes. Do you trust us? Oh, yes. Okay, leave us. I say, you know something, I'm gonna leave you, and I'm gonna be a hit. They produce amazing work. I just love, I say, wow, invite people, they know what you want. You have been working with them. Let them flow. Let them express themselves. Stop being controlling. That's it. Lesson for life.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Everyone, see if there's any questions. Anybody have?
Lancha says, thank you so much for such an interesting presentation. Love everything about it.
Thank you.
Can I
Raul?
ask something?
Yeah, Raul, go ahead. Oh, Armand, is that you? Okay, like because Raul,
Do you want someone else?
Yeah.
Raul, do you want
Armand,
to go
Armand.
first?
Yeah,
I'll go afterwards.
Yeah, Raul raised hand, and you can go after Raul. Sorry. Yeah, Raul,
We
go.
can't hear you, Raul.
Raul, go ahead. And Carlos Fitzgerald, thank you for being there, Carlos Fitzgerald, one of my great friends and collaborators, and he's an anthropologist and archaeologist, and I've been working with for years. From Panama, even though he got that surname, Fitzgerald. Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, great. So as Humberto said, we do know each other, we're pals and everything. And I have actually a question, you know, I haven't got an opportunity to ask it, and is that, you know, you shared that since back in 03, you've been doing this type of performance and whatnot, and all of this type of art. And I have a question, and it's based off of your evolution as an artist and sharing other artists. What has been like something that is a staple that you need to take into consideration before starting everything? You know, it's like essential. You need to have that in any of your works. Maybe like choosing who you're going to work with, or maybe just in the all-around project. What is something that is staple that you need to have, and that you didn't in the past? Now you're like, oh my God, how couldn't I find out that, you know?
I mean, I think it's thank you for the question, is that the basic things that you get as an artist. It's like a child that you get excited with an action, an idea, or an image, and you know it's gonna work, and you say, yeah, okay, are you okay? No, I know, it's fine. I'm having something, okay, but you know, I mean, after experience, after working, after a while, you know that it's going to work because it excites you again. But clearly, you have a file of events or projects idea, and you know when is the one you found the one. Yeah.
Awesome, thanks.
Thank you, Raul. Armand.
Hi, Humberto. Hello from Brexit Britain. Sunny Brexit Britain. I have three themes that I just wanted to mention. Gazelle mentioned that you know your work is out of the spectrum of high arts. You know, you're intervening in the surroundings of high arts, but actually I think one of the things that I feel you do, sharing your experience as an artist, is you give courage to others to enter the world of high arts, because of locations, because of events, because of the surroundings, because of the framework that the performances are being presented. You give courage to people that usually are doing what is part of their culture, part of their daily lives, part of their thing, but you're presenting it with a little bit of choreography, probably. That is your artistic input. That is, you have to get all the credit for that. But I think the most important thing is that you give courage to people to not feel alienated in the world of high art, that sometimes their artists are not part of the community and they think that they are above the community. So that was one aspect that I thought was interesting. I took from this discussion today. The other one that I felt that in the work that you were doing with the aesthetics, how do you create your own aesthetics, is related to this, because we are in some way defining what is high art here and what is not high art. It is kind of defining that kind of aesthetic kind of happy to be in this area. And the third thing that I wanted to mention, I wanted to ask, this is a very, very specific question about the Irish work that you did. The winning dog, Art is Money. Was there a little bit of background choreography there to select the favorite dog to be Art is Money? Or was that purely by chance?
Purely by chance in this case.
Well, that was a very, very happy coincidence in that case. But even if it wasn't, it would have been, brilliant, I think. But no, thank you for that empowerment and that courage that you give to artists that are unsung heroes.
Well, thank you for your ideas, your remarks. I think that yes, there are different ideas of beauty, different ideas of art, and sometimes we are not only that we are not allowed to show them, but we are not allowed even to think it or imagine them. And we have just to look a little bit into each group, community, city, culture, and people want to be part of this. And I say before, I'm just a child of my society. I wanted to be part of the arts, but I didn't have all these art education. So I come from somewhere very different. So I have to create my own way into this. And I'm not, fortunately, I think I'm not the only one. I'm quite sure there are many doing the same thing at the same time in their own new different ways. And that's what is so exciting. Actually, I'm coming back to Panama as well. I want to work with the Panamanian Chinese community, creating movement is performance here. So, and choreography, music, Panamanian Chinese music. What is that? Okay, I want to know. And so on, mixing it with First Nation Panamanian people too. Wow, with young artists too. So that's my new research, going little by little, coming back and dancing together, producing, thinking together as well. Interestingly, away from the UK now. I think it was a good move. Of course, I'm going to go back to the UK, but it's a good move to go to the non-the periphery, but going into my roots or different roots. So it feels good. Somehow this is difficult. I don't romanticize about living in Latin America. This is harsh.
No, I appreciate that. And I think probably Gazelle, with your experience during COVID of living in Iran for such a long time, that is a very similar experience. And perhaps for Erfan and Gazelle together, what we see is how do you see perhaps the same approach in Iran? Because in the past, in a very long time ago, in the 70s, I remember the Shiraz Arts Festival was in some way trying to mix it up a little bit. But what we sometimes see, this carnival type, festival type, grassroots actions. I know Ghazal is very, very interested in it. The Ashura ceremonies, for example, and the change that we see in the performance in the past 15, 20 years in that is kind of interesting. How do you see that might be manifested in Iran, for example, in the near future, or when the artistic,
I think we have to invite
the artistic community. I think we have to invite Humberto.
I think I have to invite Humberto to do something with Ashura.
Yeah.
Because what me and Erfan we're trying to do, and I mean, hopefully we'll get back to it, is the work with the Afghan migrants. But I think Humberto is the best guy to come to Iran and study Ashura and do something for it. But the problem is our country open for that? We don't want to get him arrested
Probably
for his performance.
Well,
Arman, Erfan, Gazelle, you're most invited to Panama. We're going to have a brilliant soiree here. It's gonna.
Humberto, I'm trying to reduce my carbon footprint. I think a slow boat to Panama, maybe.
Oh, that sounds good. We can, we can go back with you to the UK. Exactly, that would be nice.
Humberto, there's something always. It was always, very. I don't know. I always loved that you and Jota Castro are both lawyers, and you suddenly became artists. I mean, in your case, you went to study cinema, but you were a lawyer until what age? And then the shift. It's always amazing for me because you say you don't have the background from the arts schools and performance and blah blah blah. Your background is law, political science, and cinema. And I think, is it the political science that made you a politically and socially engaged artist?
Well, the thing is, I always wanted to be an artist. In those days in Panama, and as in many other countries of Latin America, there wasn't any art school at all. My family didn't have able to afford to send me abroad to study arts. So I had to study either architecture or law or medicine. And I finished it. I did well, actually. I pay a lot of attention to all my classes. I have a good degree. I think I enjoy it. And I work as a lawyer. Latin America, and we were all especially socially engaged. We cannot avoid a reality. This is who we are. Especially in those days, societies, cities, they were smaller than how they are now. So I learned through these studies and experiences to contact people, to care more about people. I work for this institution that sent me as a lawyer, as a student as well, sent me to work with First Nation people and campesinos, farmers. That was an experience, little by little, with laborers, with unions as well. So that helped me to understand certain situations, even though I come from a middle-class family, low middle class, and working class people as well, and people from the countryside. Well, you need to get involved with more of them. It connect me, maybe. What I never wanted to be is to work art and propaganda. I hate that. And to pretend that I'm saving the world. No, that's not me. I talk about people. We talk together. But I'm not a savior. I'm not a hero. I'm not a hero. So only Tina Turner. Not needed Tina Turner and me. We don't want, bless her. Exactly. I don't want to be a hero or whatever it is.
Yeah. No, it's great to hear that you say it like that, because a lot of artists try to be heroes. That's the problem.
Yes, we help people anyway. Somehow we are behind them. I have never stopped working with helping situations, but it's not my publicity.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And well, thank you very much.
Any questions? Maybe there's some questions.
I know, maybe. I'm just wondering, what are the criteria for the most beautiful llama? Because they're all cute and beautiful. What was that? It was just, that's a meaningless competition.
Well, I didn't intervene in that, actually. I got an artist, a curator, and an art critic. Ha ha ha. Meaningless, you just say it, not me.
Okay.
Exactly. They decided, and there was a comment about it, about the most beautiful, actually, you know? And they decided who was the most beautiful, because the great thing was that every participant was explaining why their llama was the most beautiful. I mean, breeding, color, origin, it was a male or female, how they call it, what they do. I mean, beautiful stuff, actually. That is what makes something beautiful for them. It was interesting how the artwork was trying to find a criteria for beautiful. And that is the point, actually. That actually, well, I wanted to annoy many of the organizers of the biennial, because they thought that I wasn't taking them seriously, the whole stuff.
Okay.
I have to say that the connection, my generation and Armand's generation, I don't know about Erfan, but probably Erfan, the connection we have with llamas is Tintin.
And that's a great thing about Cuba as well. People have a good laugh, intelligent, good laugh, normal laugh. You mix that with art and with, you know, new ideas or new images or new participation, and it changes everything. Not repeating the same recipe. And the great thing about certain cultures and countries, we can produce not something new, but we can introduce ideas and actions. And that's where
Humberto, I think we lost you. Looking at you.
Yeah, we lost Humberto.
comedy or irony, I don't want to say irony, but laugh as well into the art world. It doesn't got to be so serious, you see. Gosh, I mean, that's something that I can do. I'm with supporting people. I know the struggles, but even the people that I work with, they say, we don't want to introduce ourselves as people who are suffering all the time. They don't want to be victims. So no, I don't work victimism. Yeah. Teasing people, having fun, struggling, both at the same time, just as us.
Mhm.
And this is one of the things as well. I mean, but as well is like people don't take seriously in the artwork like in films as well, something that it got some sense of humor. Interesting though, it's all very serious, all very serious. Sometimes.
Yeah, totally. Reza, do you have any other like last comments?
No, I'm fine. Thank you. There's no more questions.
I don't think so. Thank you so
Thank you, Humberto. It was fantastic. Thank you for your time. Thank you for being with us from Panama.
Thank you.
Irfan, Gazelle, Raul, Carlos Fitzgerald, and I, we wait for you. We wait for you in Panama.
Yes.
Yeah, I would love to see, man.
Yeah, exactly. You look Panamanian anyway, so that's fine.
Anyway, thank you so much. I'm looking forward to seeing the new project with the Chinese community in Panama. That must be interesting. That would be really interesting. Thank you so much, Humberto.
Thanks, Humberto. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Love.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Cheers, Gazelle. Cheers, Irfan.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Cheers, mate.
Oh, let's take a picture. Wait. Let's take a picture before you go. Yep.
All right.
Thank you so much, Humberto.
Part of this. Okay.
Hasta pronto. A bientôt.
Hasta pronto,
Hasta pronto.
Gazelle. Irfan, thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Sammy, Vida, Mina, Lu, ciao. Hasta la vista.
Ciao.